Right, looking at these Permian rocks again, we've actually got another fault. Behind me there is a cave, a sea cave, and this has been eaten out because of the fault gouge material where they've moved has been crushed and is much weaker, and the sea sort of takes advantage of this. One way of determining that it is a fault, we've got the Permian breccias either side of me, and if you actually follow the lines of pebbles, they don't exactly match up across. Bearing in mind that they're dipping slightly, and the dip of this one is slightly different to this one because they've moved. The actual movement of this fault is maybe not more than perhaps 2 or 3 meters. It's actually quite a small throw fault in that respect, but they don't match up, therefore they have moved. Another excellent example of a fault, very similar to the one we saw this morning, but the one we saw this morning was in the Devonian slates. This one is in the Permian breccias. Faults are very important for determining things like caves and detaching bits of cliffs, like this one on my left, your right as you're looking at it, and you can actually see that the cliff shapes are determined by faults and the structure of the rocks themselves. As we're approaching the end of the day in our session here at Thurlestone and South Milton Sands, just let's have another look at the arch that you can see over my shoulder. Again, you can see the eye through the arch, and we've talked about it earlier on. This is a fault that is running through, and that fault you can actually trace coming this way into the cliffs, and this cliff over here is quite indented, and the reason it's quite indented almost certainly is because that fault actually runs into it, and the sea has actually etched out the weaker material that we've got there. But after everything that you've actually seen here at Thurlestone and South Milton Sands, perhaps the most striking feature is the arch. So let's just contemplate that for a moment.